Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All righty, we're rolling in on this Wednesday morning. Got Gary Chapman already here and ready to rock and roll. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm good. How y'all?
We're good. You look good, man. I'm telling you, everything's going to be a great day. You said bring Casey on. Casey Putsch. Am I saying it right? Push? I don't know how you say his last name. From Genius Garage. I don't know. He ought to fit in good being a genius, though, except for Pat. Pat's going to be. Yeah.
Pat's beyond genius. Yeah. He's next level. Next level.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Golly, a lot going on. Looked like the guy Huckabee's been promoted into the government there. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, he's the ambassador to Israel.
Yeah.
That should be good.
Probably a good one. He's been doing a lot of tourist tours to Israel for the last couple of years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well connected, big supporter. Good appointment.
I think so.
That may be a job opening for me if he's not going to be hosting that show anymore.
That's exactly what I thought when I seen that. I thought, come on, Gary, bring it on.
No, I don't belong on that particular network. I don't think.
Yeah,
I actually got banned from that network at one point.
Good for you.
I did. I really did.
It's like a red badge of courage,
Yeah,
buddy.
it kind of is. No, I said in a couple of interviews years and years ago that I believed that Christian television was the single largest detriment to true evangelism in my lifetime.
Right.
And they didn't agree with that. They did not. And it was an overstatement, and I was a cocky young guy, but
Well,
yeah.
Some things don't change.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still young.
I was saying you're old, but the cocky part, man, you ain't cocky if you can back it up. That's the way I look at it. But everybody on the show, man. I mean, everybody on the show, you'd be a perfect fit.
Well, I've got, again, we'll talk about it when I feel comfortable talking about it. There's actually a new network that's being launched.
Right.
And I plan to be up to my eyeballs in it. It'll be fun. We'll see. I'm meeting with them again today.
Well, don't forget.
Well, those things take forever. Good grief.
Yeah, don't forget about us little guys down here.
No, I will not.
Okay.
I'll remember you fondly.
He's gonna forget about us so fast, man.
Send a postcard.
Stephen, who?
We're having so much fun up here. I just thought I'd drop you this postcard.
Yeah, we tried to call you, but we forgot.
Yeah.
Oh well. No. Anyway,
hey, I have a question. I hear you guys address young Harris, and it appears to be a really cool little community there. Is there an old Harris? Is there a previous Harris, or was it always young Harris?
It's always young Harris.
Is that a dumb question if you're not a local?
Yeah, it's young Harris. In our county is a very small county. We got two cities. We got the city of Hiawassee and we got the city of Young Harris. Young Harris has not changed since I have been a kid. There's not even a business in Young Harris that I know of other than a wing house. Don't we got a wing house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right next to us.
Yeah, and then there what's the name of the art gallery and coffee shop?
Yeah.
And isn't there a chiropractor's office? And
I don't know.
It depends on where you decide Young Harris is, I guess. But
I'm just going to tell you, there's nothing in Young Harris but a college. City of Young Harris needs to go. We need to have Elon Musk down here too. What's he the head of now?
I don't want to rub it in or anything, but he is now in charge of the Doge.
Yeah. Department
of Government Efficiency.
This has been a joke forever, Gary. They make fun of me for stock advice, and I've been saying buy Doge and hodl and all this stuff. I've been saying that for 3 years, man. Dogecoin, what is it? It hit 40 cents now.
Yeah, and I'm still in the hole. So anyway, let's jump to break.
What was the high Packy of Doge?
The highest.
I can tell you.
No, you can't because it doesn't show on there. It doesn't show on Robinhood.
I've got it.
72 cents, and it's at 40 right now?
Yeah, I was going to say 60.
What a comeback.
Yeah, 49 is where I bought it at, so I'm still in the hole. Coddle, he says. Let's jump to a break. I hear him breaking in. So we got Casey Putsch. I hope I'm saying that right, but anyway, he is the Genius Garage Racing. He has got his own website. But anyway, we talked about it yesterday. He's got a car that he built that's got 105 miles per gallon he's got out of this thing in his backyard. And he has got a lot to share with us. So let's jump to a quick break, get him on here. All righty, folks, we talked about this young man 2 or 3 times over the last couple of weeks. Casey is an automotive automotive designer, engineer, craftsman, artist, and racing driver, and also the CEO and founder of Genius Garage Educational Program. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks for having me. It's a great morning and really honored to be here, guys.
Well, you might get over that time to end the show. So.
And we're doing it right, I guess.
There
also,
you
it's
go.
about the first time in a while I've been called young man because I do have a hairline that's good for an extra 10 knots top speed.
Hey, we're all with you, except for Pat Malone. We made him put a wig on because Pat shaved his head in protest of the election. So,
Did you know? Yeah. Okay. Well, that always seems like an intelligent move, unless, of course, you're doing it as a celebration.
Yes, indeed.
Casey, tell her.
Just go ahead and take it all the way down, Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of all of it. Yeah, you'll knock a second and a half off all your swim times.
There you go.
Well,
Casey, that's Gary Chapman, singer-songwriter, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. He's a good friend of ours and comes in on Wednesday. Tell everybody a little bit about what you do in your program and what you've got going on.
well, lifetime car guy, obviously a big builder. Got my 31 Buick behind me, just talking to you guys from a toolbox in my home garage. But always loved cars, always loved motorsport, history of the, industrialized world. So it's a great way to adventure and journey. But with regard to the nonprofit Genius Garage that I do, which is a 501c3, been doing that for 11 years now. And the point was this. I found that you could graduate a 4-year degree in engineering in college and never turn a screwdriver. Now, that may seem a little pedantic or banal, but that's a big problem for industry. I don't care if you're going to work for a Fortune 500 company and be doing SolidWorks and stuff. Mechanics lament and they see what engineers do with cars nowadays. But in any case, it was something that I felt moved to do to make that difference for young people because I was surrounded by, like I said, a century of engineering and motorsports history. And I just wanted to do something that would bridge that gap from academia to industry and let these young people get jobs and pick up the slack where education's really leaving off. And it's worked amazingly. Done it by building airplanes, building professional level racing cars and racing them with the kids. And, I've got students everywhere now from Tesla and Palo Alto to Lockheed Martin space program and everything in between. So it's been a real neat journey there. Beyond that, of course, do YouTube, automotive YouTube at Casey the Car Guy, sharing kind of adventures, some entertainment, some learning and everything along the way there, and building my own things. And then lastly, a big thing of note, recent was my Omega car, which is a high efficiency diesel car that did some really neat numbers this year when I tested it.
105 what miles per gallon did you get out of there?
At first tested at countryside with stop signs and turns and everything normal was 104.7 miles to the gallon. But it also beat my Dodge Viper 0 to 60 by 0.2 of a second, matching that of a Tesla Model 3. So that's what I set out to do 10 years ago. I said it will do 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. It will do over 100 miles a gallon. And I appreciate you reacting because, that's pretty good, right?
That's crazy, yeah.
Well, the point of it was simple, and I'll keep it nice. But I was very frustrated by listening to some presidential candidates in 2008.
You don't have to be nice. You don't have to be nice.
No, I thought Obama
nice.
was full of crap.
There you go.
And
There you go.
after riding around on this motorcycle right here and looking at all new cars being sold, I'm like, God, we build cars terribly.
Right.
And so, just learn a little bit more about material science and what I could build. I thought, I got to do this. I got to build something because I got like a half a dozen different ways or more that I can manufacture cars that'd be, more affordable, less environmental impact, but, actually fast and cool and useful. So I set out to do that. But, a decade ago, I didn't have any voice. And I sat on this thing for years. And then this year being a very important year, shall we say, culturally, especially politically, I'm like, I got to test this thing and get it out there and say some stuff because with these electric vehicle mandates coming from the political left, I'm like, this makes no sense. Electric vehicles are cool some places, but they're not a solution for everywhere. So I tested it, and then something else I think you guys are going to like. Okay, so over 100 miles a gallon, 0 to 60 under 5 seconds, right? I did the math. I took the EPA's number on what's the greenhouse gas carbon emissions of burning 1 gallon of diesel. And then I did a little bit of math and thought, hey, what's the average greenhouse gas emissions, byproduct of generating a kilowatt hour of electricity? So I did some more mathing. And turns out my car has less of a carbon footprint on straight diesel per mile than a Tesla is when you consider the national average charging it at home. And heck, when you consider coal-generated electricity generation, even my old Corvette did better than the Tesla did. So I thought that was really important. And it's also cheaper to run per mile than even charging your EV at home or especially on a supercharger. So was really on to something that was important to me. Like I said, those electric vehicle mandates coming from the left that made no sense at all. I think in general. And also, I think if you got a guy, old Elon, who runs effectively the biggest electric car manufacturer in the world, you know, you'd think as a business guy, it'd be in his best interest to be on that side of the team, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, he's not. So that tells me there's something more rotten going on that's bigger than even a guy with the biggest electric vehicle manufacturer in the world says this ain't right.
Well, now on your car, this is the thing. You got 105 miles to gallon. How many gasoline companies have come knocking on your door to try to get you to suppress this?
Yeah.
You know, none. That's you know, there's a couple of, shall we say, cultural thoughts or norms or I don't say wives' tale. You know, the legend. It's like, don't do it, man. They're gonna off you. You know, that kind of stuff. Well, I think we live in a different world. That was a while ago.
Right.
You know, let's be real. You know, say in the 80s and before, if you were doing that sort of thing, you know, the nicest thing they do is buy your, you know, find out your pain point and buy your stuff cheap and make you go away and bookshelf it and just go on with industry and doing the thing and making money, because you don't want to rock the boat when you're leading big companies and make a lot of money with industry nowadays, right? Well, nowadays it's a different kind of thing. Nowadays, it seems the most important stuff out there is the nature of social media and the narrative, right?
Yeah.
So the narrative out there is, oh, electric cars are going to save the world because we got no carbon footprint, the most efficient thing in the world. But let's pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, right? So that's where it gets a little interesting. So I think the old thought of the petroleum companies and whatnot being against you and not liking you, I think maybe the tables have turned. And frankly, it is, the petroleum industry and automobile manufacturers and such that would be most interested in what I've got going on, because that crazy narrative of EV is a solution for the whole world is it's not helping industry, shall we say. And I'm talking like free market. Let's just do the best thing for the people kind of industry. So we're definitely in uncharted waters and a new time here.
Well, like the battery they're using for the Tesla and all the batteries, I think there's a better battery out there, but I think they suppressed it because everybody had their money invested in this battery they're using. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head.
Well, lithium ion.
Lithium,
is,
yeah.
That's kind of a powerful battery and everything from cell phones to radio control cars and whatnot. That sort of thing's possible. I couldn't tell you specifically on that because my whole design and engineering philosophy is, hey, let these companies spend their hundreds of millions of dollars developing their best drivetrain. Then let me design a more intelligent car and use the best drivetrain that exists out there. Maybe make it a little more efficient for what part of the world. But trouble with the batteries, as you guys may know, when you look at the carbon footprint, if we want to talk, we all like the environment. I think we're all conservationists. If you're a fly fisherman, you're standing in the river, you care. You're connected to it.
Right.
So we don't have to think of that as a partisan issue. It's just when people take it too far. But in any case, to produce an electric vehicle, including the battery, your carbon footprint, your amount of energy you got to put in is a heck of a lot more than a normal internal combustion engine car. So you got to drive that internal combustion engine car, just a normal, inefficient, like the kind of average run-of-the-mill one, and the electric car, darn near 100,000 miles before they break even. And then, if that electric battery is starting to go to pot, and then you got to do it, it flips the narrative again. It's just not a solution for everything. And, the other thing you got to look at a little bit of, let's just consider the whole world. We like the United States. It's a vast land, but there's a lot of countries out there and there's a lot of people with different ideas, right? Mm-hmm. China's brilliant in a didactic sort of long game way, death by a thousand cuts. They're owning land all over the world. Mm-hmm. They own all these interesting mines in places like Africa and stuff. So it's fascinating because when you get the electric mandates coming in from a political left that's supposed to be all about people and the human rights and marginalized people in the environment, and then you see all the cobalt, lithium mines and things like that in Africa, my God, it looks like what created the bad guy in like 20,000 leagues under the sea. It's tragic. And I just think it's sad that people are no longer looking at the world and industry from that 30,000 foot perspective and going, hey, what actually works for the sake of all of us? Because I think it's fair to say everybody in the United States, don't care what side of the aisle you're on, we'd all do better if we could afford new cars that last, that work, that were efficient and all that. But we just don't have that. We've got things that are hugely expensive and don't last, and heck, they're toxic too. So that's what I was setting out on to have proof of concept by.
Well, that's the thing.
Where does your project stand now, Casey? What's the next step? Because this is like breakthrough stuff, right?
Well, I appreciate it. We're doing the next step right now by talking about it. I really appreciate you guys having me on and being there. Meaning an individual can only do the best they can with what they got around them, the resources of people who they meet and all. So, since I've made that public and shown it, interesting people and whatnot reach out. I do have two directions that are in my mind. I'm like, hey, one of these two things, if it works, I'm going this way. Because you want to have the best positive impact you can. That would be, manufacturing related. I got an idea for a material science company where the experiments and such, things that like went into the Omega car and others, they could be useful for the automobile industry, for furniture, for homes, all that. You can create and work on those processes, but the experiments while you're doing that, me being a designer type and engineer, create interesting products, everything from furniture to cars and car parts, and it all blends in together and kind of creates those two offshoots. So that's something I have in mind. But I got to be honest with you guys. The beautiful dream of being able to start a business from nothing and create an awesome new product that's great for everybody. Hey, that's neat. That's the American spirit, and that's what we want to do, and that's what we want to build a future with. But we've got over a century of the industrialized world and tremendous connections in industry and power and money that don't like things that upstart that. So it's a very tricky time we live in to make anything new or worthwhile really happen. And the other thing, I'm going to be flat out honest with you, that I have a great interest in and I feel compelled to be around, and if there's traction or direction, is relating to politics, whether that's talking about things that I think are important and really looking at, culture and industry and where we're going, and looking at that objectively in a worthwhile way with good values that I think built this country and gave people like myself and others great opportunities. I think that's very important, or whether it ends up being public office or something. So those are the things that are on my mind for the future.
Well, that's the thing. I remember growing up, we had mechanics. You got mechanics that can fix things, and you got mechanics that replace. And we're at nowadays you just replace what's broken. And back in the day, like Chuck Beck. I don't know if you ever knew Chuck Beck or heard of him or not, but he's just, he's a genius.
Real great race cars and kit cars and stuff, right?
I mean, some of the stuff that he done was just amazing to me, and he did it in his shop out back, just like you did yours. You don't hear of people like that much anymore. It's kind of sad to me because everything. Even when you go to YouTube, all they do is just bolt parts on and get more power instead of actually figuring out how to go about doing it. And here you've got a 105 mile to gallon car, and it goes faster than a Pinto. I mean, it's just
that's a lot faster than Pinto.
Yeah. But
I appreciate you saying that. There are still smart people out there doing it. You just got to find them. And it's sad because the nature of YouTube algorithm and other algorithms, they don't favor genuine value and direction. They favor the clickbait, whiz banging, mess with the cops. I broke this blew up stuff. Lowest common denominator stuff, sadly. So it's out there. It's a little trickier to find now and then.
Yeah, that algorithm, whatever you call it's tough, because Gary Chapman's got us kicked off. How many times you got us kicked off YouTube so far, Gary?
Every chance I get.
I think
every
it's 6.
chance I get. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what really will get you kicked off is I bought every major dictionary since 1860.
Yeah.
And it's funny, if you just read the definitions of actual words, how many politicians and BS narratives you can debunk real quick.
Hey, hang on. If you got a minute, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, I'd like to talk to you some more if that's all right.
Sure do. Look forward.
All right, folks, we got Gary Chapman, singer, songwriter. And Casey, how do you say your last name? Putsch?
It's Putsch, like put your money where your mouth is.
Oh, put your money where your mouth is. I mean, well, we're all Trumpers here except for Pat Malone, and who'd you write in, Pat?
Oh, geez, will you lay off that?
Hey, here you go.
Causing my reputation to be bad.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, make America great again. Right beside the Lamborghini. See, that's a Lamborghini.
Well, you can call it a Lamborghini. I refer to it as the orange car. Orange car fast, orange man good.
Oh, there you go. Gary?
Casey, what's the top speed of the vehicle that set the records?
Hold on, Gary, you got your mic off.
Which vehicle, which records are we speaking of?
Well, the 104 miles an hour, or 104
104 mile gallon car I got.
And the acceleration.
I'll be honest, I didn't really test it for top speed because, unfortunately in America, our speed limits are pretty low. However, I think with the gearing in it right now, it's I think it's about 135. Respectfully, though, if I change the gearing and put a taller gear, because it honestly has way more horsepower and torque than its drag coefficient need, it runs out of gear. It's not the other way around. I mean, it should easily do over 160, 180. But,
Wow.
I built this to be more of a real world car rather than top speed. Top speeds get a little silly. I'll give you an example. Orange Car Fast here. Its top speed's right about 210 miles an hour. It's running out of gear. This one was built nice. I think it's where it would run out of horsepower for the drag. It'd probably be about 215, 223, somewhere around there. But, I even drove that thing on the Autobahn in Germany and shoot, fast I did was 196 miles an hour. And the pucker factor was very large.
We've been there. I've been that. Yep. I've been that about 80 mile an hour in a Barracuda on the mountain. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Wouldn't some of the racing circuits be a good platform to get your message out?
Oh, that's a big question. I appreciate you saying that. When you say racing circuits, the difficulty is every, shall we say, racing series, they'll have a set of rules.
Yeah.
So finding one that you could plug that car into, that would then limit you. And then you have to look at, does that racing series have any exposure? And respectfully to them all, I mean, shoot. You look at YouTubers, even car YouTubers, even me back in 2020, I got more views than the entirety of the NTT IndyCar series worldwide, including the Indy 500, the whole series, TV, in person. So I think the best thing to do nowadays is just be real, make it for a real world need and direction, and put your mindset and concept out there. And then hopefully if it's good and you present it right, people will know. So, I've got half a mind to maybe build a car similar to that, but oriented toward racing in the future, just because obviously I'm a big driver. I love going fast.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
But right now it's all about the world and people and honestly politics and industry and what we're doing and looking at objectively.
So now you're talking about politics. You're wanting to get into politics. What avenue are you thinking? I mean, that's a big, man, it's a mess, but it's getting better.
It is. Oh, I mean, I think it's always been a mess, but to be fair, human nature, right? Well, to answer that question with a touch of a story, I remember, when I was a kid, growing up, what the 80s and 90s were like, what we were doing, some of the social thoughts and norms and evolution of America. But, by the late 90s and early 2000s, we're starting to go down a funny direction. And I think people with those good traditional conservative values, I think we got walked all over for the last 20 years. And more of the time come by recently, I'm seeing, you get attacked. And everybody's afraid to say anything, even just reasonable, real, good, moral, basic things for everybody, afraid to say anything by nature of social media. And having done YouTube now for, I don't know, like last 5 years and, having my head way up the behind of the algorithm, I see it. I see how the various social media platforms are directly programming both the influencers and the people. And I don't mean just a little bit. Like it is it's like the most nefarious thing I've ever imagined of all of humanity. Like back in the day, when a war is being fought or a hot war, it's like, okay, over there across the river, it's the guys in the funny hats. Shoot them. They're bad, right? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, the bad has infiltrated our entire culture with that. So that's something that I feel compelled to just stand up and kind of no matter what the ramifications. You have to do it smart, but, I think it might have been like one of the famous philosophers from back when said, apathy toward politics is to ensure you be ruled by evil men. And I'm just not okay with that kind of future anymore. Well, and it really comes down to where's the best traction? Where can I have the most positive impact? Will it be as something of a talking head type of figure with social media in that regard? Because they say politics is downstream of culture. Would I have a good positive impact for the world there? Or will there be an opportunity to have traction for political office in some capacity? That you never know. You look, you open to those things at various levels, but put me in, coach.
Well, that's one of the things. It's like Gary. He's got a lot of stuff going on, and he's got terminal. What's it called, Gary? Terminal.
Give me a hint.
Your web
Turbulent Truth.
Turbulent Truth. Yes.
Yeah.
And tell him a little bit about that. And you've been kicked off everything with that, have you not?
Oh yeah. It's But you know, the good news on all that is, I think, Casey, it's about to change. I believe that is really going to be dealt with aggressively.
Yeah.
The censorship and the process by which our government colluded with social media beasts to shut people like you and me up. That's about to be dealt with aggressively, and I look forward to it. There's no telling how many views you're going to get now, dude. I mean, when they seriously, when you
got a
really
point.
when you can organically reach the audience that's out there without hindrance.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a fun time. I really do.
You know, I appreciate you saying that because, frankly, I didn't even get that far ahead in thinking. I think you're right. I think we're at a turning point. It's pretty amazing. It's, you know, and I look at it with bated breath and with, you know, watching this right now and where we're at. But yeah, that's a great light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it?
Well, that's one thing. Yeah.
Hey, just before I forget, I keep glancing up at the people that are watching on radio. Can't appreciate this, but Stephen, his garage is a lot cleaner than yours. I mean, a lot. A lot.
Don't they say something about a messy desk?
Oh, hang on now. I'll turn around to my desk / tool bench.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Look, I got bicycles on the ceiling and all that garbage.
Yeah.
Some spiders down here somewhere.
You got an airplane hanging there somewhere, don't you?
Do I?
I thought you did.
That's the big garage. That's down at the shop. This is my home garage.
Oh,
This
okay.
is where I surprise the neighbors.
Yeah. Gary's he's a helicopter pilot, man. He goes around and finds all his neighbors, and while they're laying at the pool, and he just blows them right out of the tub.
Yeah.
It does happen. Yes.
Oh, I like that. We used to have a Genius Garage. We had a BD5 microjet hanging from the ceiling.
No kidding.
Yeah, and also we built a Sopwith Camel one year, took that to Oshkosh, and then I've got the only full-scale flying model of the largest pterosaur species, which would have been Quetzalcoatlus northropy. And I am impressed I pronounced that correctly.
That's pretty strong. How would we know, though? You could just make that crap up. We don't.
Oh, you go on my YouTube channel, look at it. Hanging from the ceiling. It's got 38-foot wingspan.
No, I'm talking about your ability to pronounce it. We would never know. We would never.
Well, you know, you just got to say it like you mean it.
Yeah. I had a really good friend of mine who sadly passed away, but he flew it was the Bud Light BD5 that he did all the races. Leo Laudenschlager, amazing.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, and you have to be. That's a serious aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Oshkosh, man, that place is just too big. I've been there, man. It's just too much, man. I've never seen like aircraft to Oshkosh. If you're not been, you definitely need to go. Yep, definitely need to go.
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you something, just off the cuff. What you've used a diesel engine? What basis did you what did you use as the basis for your diesel engine? Is this?
Yeah, it's production based. It's 1.9 liter Volkswagen, frankly, before that whole Dieselgate scenario.
Right.
And the reason being is I felt that it was the best power plant and most efficient one I could reasonably get in the United States. And also, it was important to use something that is production based drivetrain and power plant,
right?
Because that way the populace would have a basis of comparison to understand how it is that using intelligent design and engineering and making something efficient, just how awesome it could be. So I thought that was pretty important rather than just making some whiz-bangy Fabergé egg, delicate, prototype kind of drivetrain.
Right.
I'll give you an analogy. So my car getting over 100 miles a gallon with a production-based drivetrain, beating a Tesla and all that jazz. That's great. I just did to cars what we hope Elon Musk is going to be allowed to do with the government, right?
Oh, man, I'm all for that. Golly. I mean, don't even.
Oh, it's music in my ears.
How about all these pragmatic engineers that you're graduating and sending out there? Is this like infiltrating the monster out there?
Do tell on the monster what you mean. Industry, education, culture. What you mean?
All of it, man.
All the above. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it's a really great thing because you get young people getting more think for themselves, and that's something they gain in Genius Garage, and they get great jobs and get out there. So I really hope that seed, getting these young people to be able to think for themselves and work as a team, will not only make them great engineers and industry leaders because they're going out there to great jobs, but hopefully too, as they get a couple more years on, a little more life experience, that will also help them in the realm of deprogramming their American University political programming.
Well, I
we
mean,
shall see.
You got Harvard has got safe rooms when people get upset
dear
where they
God.
can go cry. I mean, I wouldn't hire somebody from Harvard. There's no way.
It's all power and money.
Yeah.
You know, all of these silly things. No culture in history has ever become prosperous from all the absurd things that are coming out of the left right now. Come on.
Yeah, I'm with
You know, and the other thing I got to tell you is you see this stuff on the internet relating to race, you know, and how terrible it is so across the board. And I wrote something to somebody the other day. I'm like, I'm 43 years old. I have been all around America and done all the white people stuff. I have never seen a Nazi. What in the heck are y'all telling me about? Like, if you find one, put them in an aquarium on display. We'll be like, oh, you found one.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a Nazi, right?
It's like a unicorn.
Yeah.
What in the heck, man?
I've been watching that I Am Racist. You need to check that out. I think it's a money thing too, man, way it's looking, but that is hilarious.
It's just attention. It's driven by the nature of the algorithm and social media, the absurdity, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's just it. You know, doing Genius Garage, I'll tell you, over the last 11 years, all these students, right? And since I became bigger on the internet, they come from around the country. And I've got all kinds of young people, you know, American, first generation Americans, you know, some that are fresh off the airplane immigrating, you know, from, you know, various countries, India and such, doing their graduate work. There are all kinds of different colors and backgrounds and some religions and probably some different sexualities in there too, but not my business to ask. And the reason I'm bringing that up is you just choose people based on what's in their head and their hearts, and you look for people that want to go somewhere. And that crosses all the social boundaries. So I think the government, the schools, industry, everybody needs to calm down, go get a real job, and just let all these good people work together, and we're going to be all right. That's what America's all about.
I want the smartest man in the room, in control. I don't want somebody there just because their hair's purple. I mean, that's crazy, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if they keep going with the DEI stuff real far, that's okay. I think I also have a career in the NBA and professional male basketball, despite being a 43-year-old white guy.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
No question.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Man, we have got to go. I appreciate you tuning in with us, though. We'd love to have you back, man. You are a fire hose, man. There's no doubt of knowledge coming out here.
Well, anytime, guys. We could do it down at the garage with race cars or anything you like, Omega car. Lots of fun, but I was honored to be here, and thank you.
Hey, we appreciate it. GeniusGarageRacing.com. And that'll take you all the links.
You got it.
What's going on?
Look up Casey Putsch, Casey Batmobile, Casey Omega Car. You'll find me.
There you go. Thank you, man.
Cheers.
All righty, we're back with you. And, man, what a wealth of knowledge he was. Hey, man, tell us about this. You did the Children's Health Defense thing over the weekend. How did that go? Tell us about that.
It was amazing. There were, 1, 2, 3. There were 4 fire hoses there.
Right.
Dude, the collective brain power was overwhelming. Thank goodness they recorded it and they sent it all to me. And I'm just gonna slow it all down about half speed and listen to it all again. But there's really, really some amazing information that I will try to digest and pass on. But you know how bad things create good things, right? Somehow, beauty from ashes kind of mentality. Out of all the stupidity and darkness surrounding the pandemic and the vax and the this and the that and all the stuff, there are cures. There's light at the end of the crazy tunnel. So, yeah. I'm going to shut up until I can say it correctly, but it's amazing.
Well, now, any way we can see this?
I've got the whole presentation.
Right.
And I think so.
Right.
I think so. Let me look at it and see the best way to share it.
Well, I've got,
because it was hours and hours, so.
I got somewhere somebody said Robert Kennedy's fixing to fire Robert Jr. Is fixing to fire 600 employees at the National Institute of Health. Have you heard that?
Yeah. There's a lot of people about to lose their gig, which is awesome.
Absolutely. I'm gonna miss Red Dye number 12 though, or 9, whichever one.
Well,
did I miss something? Has he been nominated yet?
No, but everybody knows what's coming.
It's
everybody
coming.
knows what's coming. Yeah.
Because we got Elon Musk, and who else is it with Elon Musk going to help him?
Vivek.
Yeah, Vivek.
Yeah.
That ought to be good. Do you not think?
Well, I think it's going to be hilarious. The things that they're talking about doing, just off the bat, is pretty awesome, pretty great. I would, if I was in any level of federal government, and I didn't come home from work every day completely convinced that I had done an amazing thing for my country,
Right.
I'd be scared, because, boy, if you're dead well, you're just about to be weighed.
Well, that's the thing.
Gary, you've been around for a while. You've seen attempts like this before that have.
No, I have not. No, I have not. I have not seen anything.
Do you not remember Senator Proxmire from Wisconsin?
I do, and he had nothing like the force that is lined up to get this done. Nothing close.
Well, how about
Nothing.
Reagan's Productivity Improvement Act? That went no place.
And it was way ahead of its time. The timing is what makes these things work, coupled with an amazing force, and we've got them both.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
We'll see. We'll see soon enough. It won't take long to see results.
I think so too.
I mean, in some ways, you're already seeing it. Good grief. The market is saying, yes, thank you, let's go. I think the country is doing that. I think the mentality of all the people that don't have blue hair and screaming because they may not be able to have an abortion somewhere, all the real people, honest, hardworking, good people are excited.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it like this in a long time.
The market is saying yes because of the certainty
Yeah.
that there's going to be rules issued that we'll play with for a while.
And regulations vanishing that allows the free market to actually become that.
Yeah,
that's what they're excited about.
Absolutely.
I mean, the big businesses have been very happy the past 4 years. They've just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Small business, positive or negative mentality based, if you look at it through that matrix, small business is just gone.
Yeah.
Just gone. And that's about to change. And that will be the big one. That'll be the big one that changes everything.
These folks he's putting in, man. I mean, so far, I hadn't seen anyone I really have disagreed with as far as his cabinet. Have you?
I've had a couple that maybe go, wouldn't have thought of that. But no, I don't have any problems with any of it. I think Pete Hegseth is going to be an amazing Secretary of Defense. It's been a minute since we actually had a soldier that's been in combat and seen his friends die and had to take that process to heart.
Right.
And I think the days of transgender surgeries in the military are over.
Right. Well, I know people got out of the military because all the DEI BS they got going on. They're like, I'm not staying.
That's leaving.
About to go away with this new board of generals that are going to screen all the senior officers. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and that's a good thing.
Oh man, honestly.
The other one that kind of caught me sideways was Kristi Noem.
Yeah.
But I think they probably need her to be a little bit of a buffer for Holman. My goodness, that guy. I mean, I love him, but he scares me. He scares me, and I'm here legally.
I like him. Yeah. They say, well, what about kids? He's like, we can get rid of the whole family. We'll just send them all back together.
We can deport them as a family. That's no problem.
He may just scaring people like that. They may self-deport.
Actually, that's already happening.
Yes.
There are a lot of people that are just going to listen. We gave it a shot.
Take the chance. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be, and I'm not racist, but they have broke a federal law. That is a federal law, honestly. And everybody's like, okay, well, if you take all these illegals from the farmers, who's going to pick all the stuff? Who's going to work for the farmers? And I'm thinking, well, Elon Musk and them was fixing to cut the government in a big way. So there's a bunch of employees out there coming out of the 600 already. Yeah. They're talking about.
Wait a minute. The migrant workers that are here harvesting the crops are here legally.
Yeah, they are.
On those temporary migrant or
not all of them. Not all of them. No way.
there's a bunch of them that are, though. He's right.
Yeah.
Nothing would make me happier, though, than to see some senior Department of Justice lawyer picking cotton. That would make me happy.
Singing the songs.
Yeah. Seeing an old spiritual. Get out there, white boy, sing.
Hey, Lord of mercy. Y'all need to watch that I Am Racist. Have you seen that I Am Racist yet? That movie he's got.
I do a thing on Saturday. It's every other Saturday morning, and it's at 7:00. That's the only thing I hate about it. But there's a group of guys that gets together, and they bring in speakers, just to kind of share their life experience. And not the last one, the one before was Kylie Jean Tannehill.
Right.
She's married to Ryan Tannehill, NFL quarterback for a few years here and there. She's one of the producers on that, and she spent the whole time talking about the process of making that movie. It's pretty great. It's pretty hilarious. It's great.
Gary, we're out of time. Dadgummit. Tomorrow.
We're not on tomorrow night. My wife, she's just too good at what she does. She's getting honored at a banquet tomorrow night, so we will not be live streaming. Sorry. We'll be back next week.
We'll see you next Wednesday then. We appreciate you, brother.
Sorry, man. Bye.